Hi, everyone. Happy Fierce Friday. Happy Valentine's Day. It's good to see all of you on joining us today. I know some of you probably have some plans with your loved ones later today, but we appreciate you taking your time out to be here with all of us. Please take some time now, if you haven't already, to send this link to those that you love, especially on your team, within your community. I have a lot in store today. I'm really excited to share really just the love that we have for this legacy we're a part of, right? I know in the world, a lot of people right now are celebrating with toxic candy, right? Pastries full of processed sugar. And at Purium, we are a part of this mission of a lifestyle change that really starts with, supporting our bodies at a cellular level with organic, toxic-free foods. But on today's call, I really want to honor the love that we have for the legacy here at Purium, right? The love that we have for nourishing our bodies, our mind, our spirits with organic, clean nutrition. The legacy that we're a part of that really supports us in empowering families with the opportunity to create financial abundance and freedom. And definitely the legacy that we're a part of and what we're creating for the future of our planet and our families. So also February is Black History Month, and it is extremely important to me as a Black woman, as a Black leader here within Purium, to honor the leaders and the activists that paved the way for our mission that we're a part of here in Purium, but also for me to even be here and to share on this call today. So I have a lot in store. I'm excited to share this legacy that we're a part of and just kind of paint the vision for this mission that we all support and want to continue to empower families with. My name is Dominique Jeffries. For those of you who don't know me, I am a Green Diamond and leader within Purium. I have been on this Million Mom Movement Council for about 3 months now. And every second Tuesday of the month, I lead our business presentation Zoom. So today I am joined with my fellow council members, Sherry Packard, Naiva Flory, Gracie, and Ashley Morales. So before I get into the presentation, I would love to invite someone within our community to read our pledge. Naiva, if you don't mind sharing your screen and showing our pledge. And I would like someone to volunteer to read the pledge aloud for us. If you could just raise your hand virtually and we will unmute you. Would anybody like to read it? If not, I can call on somebody that I see that I know. But I would love to give you all the opportunity to read it yourselves. Sherry, would you like to read?
Yeah, sure, I can do it.
Thank you so much.
Actually, Nathan, you want to read the pledge? No? Okay. Well, I thought I'd give it a try. You come sit with me while I read it. Okay. So I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I'm committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And if you could just share just a little bit about what this movement, this pledge really truly means to you and your family.
Yeah, I'd love to. I love sharing about that. This pledge has a lot of meaning for me. First and foremost, as a mom of 3 and a grandmother of 2, it's so important to me that my kids have a healthy foundation and that they understand why that's so important and how they can obtain that. Empowering them in their health is one of my first priorities in terms of being a mom. And then just, for all of us and for all of our kids, it's probably harder than ever right now to navigate life. And there's so many things being thrown our way all of the time. And our kids are being targeted specifically with, unhealthy options everywhere they look. And so I think healthy living is so important and creating that awareness around it, educating ourselves and then educating others is just, it's so important. I don't think it's ever been more important than it is today. And so that pledge just reminds me um, of my why I do that, why I do it with my family, and why I became a holistic nutrition and health coach to help empower others that same way.
Yes, I love your story, and I love how you're leading yourself, leading your family, and paying it forward to other families. And that's truly what we are here for, and why we love this community, the Million Mile Movement, but also just this incredible mission that we're a part of within Purium. I am one of the only council members that does not have any children. And I love sharing that because it's really important to me to be able to take care of myself and learn from all of Sherry and all the other council members and the moms of part of this community, how to really be able to take care of my health, and be able to pay that forward to my future children that I have yet to birth. So I'm really grateful for you, Sherry, and the way that you lead the way, and yeah, all the other moms that are on this call. So let's get into today's topic, right? So the title of this call, I titled it For the Love of Legacy. And honestly, yes, to share about the lineage of Purium, this company, this mission, how our owners, Dave and Amy, got started, where they got started, the history of regenerative farming. And then I'm going to open it up for feedback because I would love to hear from all of you, right, about from our community, what this mission means to you, the legacy that you are building for yourself, for your family, for the planet. And just, yeah, open it up and end the call with the love that we have for ourselves on this Valentine's Day. So I'm going to share my screen and show you guys where it all started. Okay, so within Purium, right, we honor regenerative agriculture. For those of you who don't know, the superfoods that we all share and that most of you are eating and love to consume and share with your friends and family are grown in regenerative soil. And it was important to me to share and honor George Washington Carver because he is actually known as the grandfather. Dave actually likes to refer to him as the grandfather of regenerative agriculture. And he, for those of you who don't know, he was born into slavery. He was actually one of the first slaves to receive their Bachelor's of Science degree. He also became one of the first Black professors at Tuskegee University in Alabama. It is a historically Black college and university. And this was where he actually found the solution to what we call regenerative agriculture. He came in and actually was supporting a lot of scientists around the time of the Dust Bowl, which was in 1930s. And the Dust Bowl, was a dust storm that swept Oklahoma, Kansas, basically the Plains area, Texas, Colorado. And it destroyed the land, and it actually came from farmers that were overplowing and overtilling the soil. So they were destroying the soil, and it actually removed the deep rooted grasses that held the soil into place so that when a drought hit, right, when there was no rain, the dirt would stay into place. And unfortunately, the wind blew, there was dust everywhere, and it destroyed the crops. So families that were living in those areas it made it impossible for them to survive because they couldn't get quality food because of the farmland. So George Washington Carver came in through his studies at Tuskegee University and introduced this way of agriculture, right? Regenerative farming, where he introduced crop rotation, cover crops, green manure. I know that's a practice that a lot of people are learning about now, returning nitrogen back into the soil, what we call soil regeneration. And that practice is what we use today within our superfoods. Within Purium, Dave and Amy are very adamant about partnering with farmers that practice regenerative agriculture. And it's interesting to me because this was something that George Washington Carver brought into agriculture in the 1940s. And unfortunately, due to capitalism and this, fast world that we're living in, a lot of farmers started to use and incorporate chemicals into their farmland, into their agriculture to be able to keep weeds from growing, right? I know a lot of us here are familiar with Roundup. It is the most heavily sprayed weed killer in America, and it has caused almost every chronic illness that is linked to a lot of what people are suffering from right now, diseases like Alzheimer's, cancer, autoimmune disease, infertility, autism in children. And this chemical has been destroying the soil, it's destroying the plants, and it's destroying our environment. And a lot of farmers now are going back to what George Washington Carver brought to us back in the 1930s, which was regenerative agriculture and restoring the soil. So we here at Purium, we celebrate and we honor George Washington Carver and all of his efforts through these practices and being able to integrate foods in across the world, but throughout families and households that are grown into regenerative soil, that are restored and have all the minerals, all the nutrients that we need so that we can regenerate on a cellular level. So I couldn't start this presentation off without honoring the grandfather of regenerative agriculture. So next, I want to just take us back to where Purium began. So this picture, I actually found this photo and this caption from Dave's Facebook page. And this was our original facility in Long Beach, California in 1993. Actually drop in the chat where you were in 1993. I would just love to know like where you were in your life, what was happening, because wherever you were in the world, Dave and Amy were building this business, building this dream, right? They started with the dream, this mission to be able to help people eat quality food and have access to foods that would really nourish them and change the trajectory of their lifestyle. I'll just go ahead and read this for those of you who can't see it, and just so that you can hear the passion that Dave had and where they started, because that's what truly drew in my heartstrings, was knowing their heart and the love that they have for this mission. So Dave says it started in 1993 with a dream, and this 1,200 square feet that was my home, my garage, my office, my manufacturing plant, my shipping, no windows and no heating or cooling, no kitchen or shower. I invested every dime I could find in a superfood company that would revolutionize the nutrition industry, selling the world's first low temperature flash dehydrated super greens and superfoods to a world starving for purity and honesty from their food providers. It was 4 years before I earned enough to move out. It was the genesis of what we have become, the mission, the message, the passion, the hope, and the dream. It all started here. That we could create a better future and a true legacy, a flag, a banner that says to the world, you can be healthier, wealthier, happier, and more hopeful starting now. And now it's happening. We are now doing this together. This picture just reminds me, I don't know if you all have ever seen that photo of Jeff Bezos when he was starting Amazon, I believe in his apartment. And he's got a sign behind him that just says Amazon. And he had this dream, right, that he was going to build this incredible business. And that's what he did. And Purium is the exact same way. It started with a dream with Dave and Amy and their sacrifices to be able to really, for all of us to be here today. So this is over 30 years in the making. I love that Dave and Amy have stuck to their integrity, right? Like, we are a privately owned company. We don't have any, we're a privately owned company, and Dave and Amy make 100% of the decisions. They are extremely hands-on. There aren't any outside investors that make the decisions here. Dave and Amy are trusted, and because they had this mission back then, they believe to stay true to what they held to themselves and to their heart. So I love that their integrity is not questionable. And I just think that when you see where they started, it just reminds you of where you may have started in this business, where you may have started with whatever dream you had for yourself and your family, but to just continue on because of what's possible here. So next, I want to share about another extension of our heart in Dave and Amy and why we laid roots in Long Beach, California. So put a 2 in the chat if you remember the Rodney King riots. I will say that I was actually not born when the Rodney King riots happened in 1992, but I was born just a few months later. And the Rodney King riots, for those of you who don't know, were a series of protests. It was about 6 days of looting and riots in Long Beach, California. And it was or has happened after 4 police officers were acquitted of using excessive force against Rodney King, who was a Black man. And they were acquitted from they were acquitted despite having actual video evidence showing that he was brutally attacked. And this was the first time that something like that was captured on camera, right? People could actually see and emotionally connect to what was happening in the racial discrimination against police officers and Black people. And it just completely took over not just what was happening in California, but all over the world. People were affected by what they were seeing. And it just actually exposed the racial inequality and the injustice that everyone knew, but they could finally see and witness for themselves. So that's that studio that I showed you, this facility here in this photo. Dave and Amy decided to actually have that facility in Long Beach, California, in 1993, right after the Rodney King riots. They knew they had this mission to be able to help and impact the world, right? And they wanted to restore health and wellness across the world, but they realized that we want to change the world, but we have to start at home, right? We have to be the change that we want to see in the world. So they set this facility up in Long Beach, California, in order to restore the community with jobs, with well-paying health insurance, to felons, to single-parent families that did not have the resources to be able to regenerate their community. And that's something that really stood out to me when I partnered with this company and I learned about Dave and Amy's heart when it came to laying roots in an area that truly needed it, right? And then what's the beautiful blessing about this too is that in 2016, when Dave and Amy had already restored the community after the Rodney King riots and laid our roots in Long Beach, they decided to expand, right? They wanted to have a bigger facility and they realized that, they wanted to contribute to another community that was suffering as well. And I remember Amy wrote in one of the blogs that we have that there were a lot of realtors that suggested that they move the next facility to a more affluent neighborhood in California and in Los Angeles. And instead they decided to lay their roots in Compton, California. So our facility today is a 40,000 square foot facility in Compton, where a lot of the same communities that we were supporting, the same families, Black and brown people in Long Beach, are supported financially through what we have at our facility. So I think it's really beautiful that we give back in this way to jobs, to health insurance, to just being a representation of having organic food and what our mission is, and to lay roots in a neighborhood like that. So I just wanted you guys to know that. And I'm sure you probably have known, if you've ordered your superfoods, you've seen that it says coming from Compton, California. So your next order, take a screenshot of that and you know the history and why that was so important to us. Before I get into this direct sales and network marketing business model, I did want to just honor a few more of the humanitarian efforts that I don't think a lot of people know or that isn't talked about enough from Dave and Amy, because they're extremely humble. But what they have done, not only in Long Beach and in California, but across the world, is incredible. And it's really beautiful that we are a part and get to be an extension of their mission. But Dave and Amy helped over 200 rice farmers in Thailand reject Monsanto. Monsanto is the company, actually it's owned by Bayer now, that owns Roundup, the weed killer that has destroyed our land. But they rejected Monsanto and embraced organic farming through microloans to over 200 rice farmers in Thailand. So we put those efforts into regenerating the farm land using regenerative agriculture and basically keeping Monsanto from taking over those farmlands in Thailand. Dave and Amy also have supported Interval House, which is a nonprofit organization that actually shelters survivors of domestic violence, because Dave was actually raised in an abusive household. That's also why we're so passionate about the Million Mom movement and being able to empower mothers and women with financial freedom and opportunity to create income online so that they can support themselves financially and get out of abusive relationships and situations that they might be in that cause them to stay in longer because they don't have the resources to get out. Dave was also a radio host in New York City, and he actually fought to ban trans fats from being used in our food system in New York. So New York is actually one of the only states that has actually implemented in removing and banning trans fats. So I thought that was really interesting to know. And then Dave also wrote the former NFL Players Association protocol for injuries with connective tissues and bone strength. So that's something to also be just mindful of and be excited about, to know that you're a part of a company, but a mission to be able to, that's been able to support so many different communities and organizations like the NFL across, the world. Okay, so let's get into our direct sales network marketing business model, because I believe that this is really where this company has shifted and created the true transformation, the true legacy that we have here through this network marketing business model. So at first, Dave and Amy, they were just selling our superfoods to local farmers markets, at health food stores. Actually, we were in Whole Foods that a lot of people shop at right now, right? And imagine you go to Whole Foods or a health food store that you like to shop in, and you see your favorite green powder, or maybe your favorite protein powder that's on the shelf. You don't know the heart behind that company, right? You don't know the mission necessarily. You might just see the price. I know that's the first thing that I used to look at, was the price. Now, as I've been educated, I look on the back, and I'm very adamant about reading ingredients. But Dave and Amy realized that that type of marketing isn't heart, right? You don't know the story. You don't know the legacy behind this brand that not only you're supporting financially with investing your dollar, but also what you're supporting your cellular health with, what you might be sharing with your friends, your family, the people that you love. So Dave and Amy decided to shift their sales and their marketing to the people, to getting into network marketing, this business model where instead of hiring companies or models or actors to market this product, they decided to pay us, to pay the mothers, the families, the single parent households that are needing extra income, are eating organic food, or maybe looking for a resource to eat organic food, and be able to pay it forward to the people that they love, right? How many times do you go to the grocery store and you find something new that you love, right? A new protein powder or something, and you maybe post it online on social media and you're sharing it with everyone. Or maybe you immediately go to your best friend and you text her how much you love it, right? That is a form of sharing. That's a form of marketing. Even if you don't feel like you're marketing it, that's what you're doing. And that's what I love here with Purium, is that we have real life stories and experiences with these foods. And Dave and Amy shifted to this network marketing business model so that we could be able to share with the people that we love and be able to receive income by helping others eat these foods as well. So it truly is a business model that reflects our grassroots mission, and truly, our heart, and why it's so important for us to expand and share this food with as many people as we can across the world. Another thing about network marketing is that it is an opportunity for everyone. So despite your race, your education, your financial resources, your experience, your income is a direct reflection from the impact that you are making. Network marketing is also the only business model that has produced the most female millionaires, right? Women are able to really reclaim their sovereignty financially from a simple home-based business. This business model is 100% online. We're sharing food, but we're also sharing it from a website, right? That Dave and Amy have created this business so that it makes it seamless and easy for us to share and help people get started. I'll also read here, this is a post from Dave, and he said that we were the fastest growing company out of 3 of the 5 years that we launched our business in Inc. magazine, after we shifted to network marketing in 2013. So I would also love if you guys could drop in the chat, where were you in 2013? What was happening in your life? Were you in Purium? I know some of you that are on the call were already a part of our mission. We're already eating these superfoods and sharing it. I know I wish that I had it in 2013, but that wasn't my story. Not yet. I was actually in college partying. I needed these superfoods when I was in college. Oh my God. I gained so much inflammation. I was eating Chick-fil-A and Subway every single day. I lived off Subway and Chick-fil-A. So I definitely needed a power shake back then. And that's really why I wanted to kind of wrap up and end with my story, right? Because we're talking about legacy. It started with George Washington Carver. It's started with Dave and Amy and their mission in 1993, and this trajectory of what the vision that they have for families, for people like me. And I just think it's so beautiful how things come full circle. And as you listen to my story, I really want you to think about your own story here. Like, that's why I was asking in the chat, where you were around these times, because this is when in 1993, Dave and Amy were really building this business. In 2013, they shifted their efforts to network marketing, and to think about where you were in your life and how this opportunity really aligned with where you were and why it's so important to you now. But I just wanted to share in 1993, I was in diapers. Okay, so you see this picture here. This is my family. This is me. My mom is holding me. My sister, is actually her birthday. My brother and my dad. And I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. I, wow, had no inkling about health and wellness. Honestly, was not eating organic food, didn't understand the importance. My parents did the best that they could with what they knew. I will say that despite, eating a lot of fast food, my mom was very adamant about having a home cooked meal. And that was something that, I really valued, that she instilled in our family. And that's something that I'm going to obviously continue on with my future family. But I was born in Louisville, Kentucky. So I was raised in the South. My ancestors were slaves. And not only do I carry, the emotional trauma that they experienced through slavery that has been passed down generationally, energetically, but I also carry their strength, their resilience, their love, and their beauty. And this opportunity with Purium was actually what kind of helped me bring it all together. Was something that helped me not just be able to detoxify on an energetically level the trauma that might be within my family, but it's also given me the opportunity to step into leadership, to really embody and empower myself through the resilience that's within my lineage. So when I found Purium, I thought I was healthy. I was a junk food vegan. I moved from Louisville, Kentucky to Miami, Florida in 2018, and I just had this dream of freedom. I was pursuing modeling part-time, so that's why I moved to Florida, and my intention was for it to be my full-time career. I love the freedom that I got just being able to have photo shoots on the beach one day, or to be in a studio working one day and not having to be tied down to working inside of a corporate office or a restaurant, because I did have a past history working in restaurants. And I remember thinking, like, I do not want to have to go back to working in the restaurant. I just want modeling to be my full-time career. Well, due to the financial stress living in a city like Miami, Florida, and just living not on my own, but with my sister, financially, it made the most sense for me to start working at a restaurant. So fortunately, I did have to give up that dream and give a lot of my energy and my time to working in a restaurant. And I don't know if you've worked in a restaurant before, drop a 3 in the chat just so I can see how many people understand what it's like to be in that environment. Yes, right? I actually wasn't a server, I was a hostess. But I did get paid really well. I will say if you do work in a restaurant, you know that the pay is nice, but the physical, mental, and emotional stress that you are under constantly, it never stops. Even when you go home and you're off from work, it still affects you. And it took a toll on my health, right? Financially, I was very stressed because I knew if I didn't work X amount of hours, I wouldn't be able to make X amount of money that I needed to pay my rent. So every single week, it was like a hamster wheel. I'm just picking up shifts. I wanted to go on vacation. I had to pick up extra shifts to be able to cover it. And then I had to come back and pick up even more shifts to cover the money that I spent on vacation. Right? So there was like this loop that I was in. And I remember thinking, like, how am I going to get out of this? Like, this really can't be my life. This is not why I moved here to Miami. I moved to Florida to be able to spend time outside and in nature. And here I am working inside this restaurant that I'm never outside, right? So when I found Purium, actually, my sister found Purium. This picture of me, her, Dave, and Amy in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. And I started my journey, started my health journey, and I actually launched my business right when the pandemic hit because I was laid off from the restaurant. My only source of income was gone overnight. And even though I was kind of grateful because I was so tired of running around the restaurant for the first time, like my feet were not on fire and I could breathe and I could spend time outside. But I still had that like stress of like, okay, how am I going to be able to support myself financially? Like, what am I going to do? And Dave and Amy offered this opportunity where you can invest in your own superfood, your own transformation, right? Our ultimate lifestyle transformation, get your groceries covered for the month and be able to start your own business, right? To launch an online home-based business from your phone and be able to receive income by sharing this with your friends and your family. So I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I had never shared, had a gift card code or shared online about anything. It was mostly just posting, my modeling photos. And I just was so excited to help the people that I knew were struggling, right? How many of us, especially those who worked in a restaurant, how many people are just struggling with their energy, right? They're relying on caffeine and coffee all throughout the day and they still don't have any energy. I knew people who were trying to transition to like a plant-based lifestyle and trying to eat better, but just didn't have the time to prioritize meal prepping. And even if they did, they didn't have the energy to cook and clean. And I just was like, oh my God, I have something tangible I can share with you. I'm so excited to help you. And we can be on this journey together. And I can really introduce you to this incredible community and company that I'm a part of. And the more that I shared, the more excitement that I had, the more that I continued to nourish myself with these foods, I received checks every single week. So that's another beautiful thing that Dave and Amy have within this company. They pay us very generously. We get paid every single week from our sales. We also get paid every 15th of the month. And that 15th of the month is not only a reflection of a lot of the bonuses that we get that they offer to us to be able to move quickly, but to also pay it forward to other families, to other people who want to share health and wellness, who are passionate about helping others, who are looking for extra income. And so I just want to share that, for me, I had absolutely no experience in network marketing, no experience in health and wellness, no experience in coaching, no experience in entrepreneurship. And to this day, I'm actually now 5 years later, I am one of the top leaders in the company. And it's because of my dedication to my own self, my own personal development, my own journey, but it's also to being able to do something that is really giving back to the world, right? When I was in the restaurant, I didn't want to be there physically, right? I knew it was destroying my health, but I was honestly, my spirit was looking for purpose and walking somebody to their table to enjoy their Valentine's dinner, right? With foods that were toxic that I didn't even understand at the time, didn't fulfill me. And I knew that I had these skills that were waiting to be expressed. I couldn't dream, like, because I was so bombarded with just feeling tired all the time and not being able to focus on myself, right? I was giving all my energy to fulfilling someone else's dream. And this opportunity with Purium provided a resource for me to fund my own dream. So I just think it's so cool to see how in 1993, Dave and Amy were building this business and I was in diapers. And no matter where you were in the world at that time, you're here with us today for a reason, right? Whoever invited you to this call, one, they truly care about you. They see this as a gift, as a blessing for you in your life, whether that is through your health or through your health and your financial health. And they invited you to this call so you can not only hear my story, but hear the stories of a lot of the people that you see in these photos and everyone that you see on this call. So I just want you to think about what is the legacy that you are creating for yourself? What's the legacy that you're creating for your family? And what's the legacy that you're creating for our future, for this planet, right? It started with George Washington Carver and our regenerative agriculture efforts. And with Purium, we are an extension of his mission, of his gifts. But you have gifts too, just like I do. Like I knew I had, I just didn't know where they would be honored and celebrated, right? What are your gifts and how can you truly use them to help heal this world? And how can we support you here at Purium in expressing them to the fullest? So before I open it up, because I would love to hear from all of you and the legacy that you're building and creating, I would love to end the call or in my presentation with a beautiful, wow, I don't even want to call this poem because it's so much more than that. From Maya Angelou, Still I Rise, to just really sit with who you are as a person, as a parent, as a sibling, and the gifts that you have and how you can honor them and celebrate them today on Valentine's Day, right? How you can honor yourself and how you can be in environments and communities like what we have here with Purium to continue to rise and help others.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lines. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust. All right. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high. Still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness, but just like life. All right. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. The fifth time is a surprise that I dance. As if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain, I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, that
Beautiful. I love that so much. Wow. So thank you all so much for being here. I would love to, wow, I'm reading through the chat now. I wasn't even able to read through the chat when I was on the call, when I was sharing my screen, but it's so beautiful to see all of you and all your beautiful messages. I would love to just open it up to the call and get feedback from you guys. What were your takeaways? What is the legacy that you're creating for yourself, for your family? Yeah, let's go ahead, Ashley. Get on mute. Oh, there we go.
Oh my word, Dominique, that was absolutely gorgeous and completely perfect timing. It was just beautiful. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, first of all. How I have been able to allow Purium come into my life and change it completely. Many of you have heard my story before, but I love sharing it because so many new ones join and some people forget. I love the fact that I was able to bring this into my life at a time when I was at my lowest. So I had 3 pregnancies back to back, and the postpartum depression came with each pregnancy. And the journey that came after that was nothing I expected motherhood to be. I actually was having such a hard time just getting out of bed to take care of the 3 babies that were They were all under 3 years old. So to get up and get them food was all I had energy for. And then everyone was back in bed. They could watch TV and I needed to sleep. And that was the extent of my life. Eventually, I got to the point where I needed to take on a job. So I was working from home, chained to my desk, while my husband got to play outside with the kids and I could just look at them through a window. So this was not the freedom I thought I was going to have in this work from home opportunity. And I literally could not move from my spot. I needed to take every call, I needed to answer every email. So when I unexpectedly got called into a meeting for this Zoom meeting because I was working remotely, they told me, you're not going to be able to. Let me jump back a little bit because I did start Purium before, and that's why I was able to get this job and work full time, work 60 hours a week from home. So that's where my energy came from. But always in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to run this business. So that was my plan B. And then I got called into this meeting, and out of nowhere, they told me they wouldn't be keeping me on for whatever reason they felt. They did not explain. And from then on, I knew I needed to make my plan B my plan A because I didn't want to put my eggs in anyone else's basket. This amazing company had gotten me out of this depressive state and able to share with other people while I was working 60 hours a week. So, yeah, of course, I wanted to share with other people what energy I had gotten to. And now that this job had dropped me completely, I could focus all my energy on that. So, that's what I love about this is that you are in control. You're the one who's calling the shots and you get to have full autonomy. So that's what I love, and how it's been able to benefit my family health-wise is just phenomenal. And yeah, they're thriving because of this amazing regeneratively grown food like you brought out so beautifully. So that's what I wanted to share is yes, the emotional and health journey has been amazing. Yes, I lost weight and I was able to reduce my inflammation and support my emotional health to get off my medication for depression and anxiety. Those are amazing things. And at the same time, I was able to grow this business to the point of having a team that's going and getting paid every week. It's just phenomenal. So thank you so much for opening this up, and I can't wait to hear more shares from everyone else.
Thank you, Ashley. I love your story so much. And it's really just a testament, especially for the mothers out there, or honestly, any caregivers, that you have to fill your cup first. And what you were experiencing with your children, and like you said, the back-to-back pregnancies, it took a toll on your body, but it took a toll on your emotional health. And this was a resource that really helped you pour into yourself. And now you're in this position where you're able to pour into your family wholeheartedly and your communities, and that's really what we're about here. So I love every time you share, and I appreciate your story and for being here with all of us. Thank you. Hi, Grace. I'm gonna let you unmute. You can share.
Hi, Dominique. Wow, just deep bow. Just such a beautiful, beautiful journey that you just took us on. I'm so grateful for you and to get to work alongside of you. I'm almost in tears. That was really, really profound. Part of what stood out to me in the presentation today that I don't talk a lot about, I found Purium also postpartum. I was in a deep postpartum depression dealing with Hashimoto's autoimmune disorder of the thyroid. I had my daughter when I was 42, my one and only, and so I was later in life. But the part of the story that I don't often tell is that I was also in a very physically, emotionally, financially abusive relationship. When I started Purium, I would be on calls. I would be so excited. And he would like text me from the other room, just like the meanest text. He just was so threatened by me, coming into my own financially or, anything like that. But I kept going because there was this amazing community who saw me and really supported me to rise into leadership. And I had a way to leave. I didn't have like a ton of money, but I was doing okay with Purium, enough that I felt the bravery to take my 2-year-old and leave that relationship. And I really felt like my soul would die if I didn't leave. And so thank you for bringing that aspect of the story in, and the way that Dave and Amy and all of us, through being a part of Purium, um, support women like myself, and women like, and it's not just women, but yeah, so I just wanted to share that part of my story, and again, just offer my just gratitude and respect to you for what you brought through today. And yeah, I'll stop there, but thank you.
Thank you so much, especially for your bravery to share that. I didn't know that part of your story. And I also think there are a lot of people, like you said, not just women, that are in relationships or environments like that that are toxic, and they might not know a way out, but Purium provided so much more than the financial support you needed to get out of it. But like you said, the emotional support to remember that you are a leader, or you're leading your daughter, but you can also lead yourself and create a better life for yourself. And that's what you've done. And, now here you are sharing on this call and empowering so many other mothers. So thank you so much for adding that part to your story. Who do we have? Martha. Hi, Martha.
Hi, thank you so much for sharing the history. It was a beautiful call. My health journey and understanding of psych issues, and it just started very young, where certain things were like explained to me that I was going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. And, we always sat down, we always had like that good old biscuits and gravy, and the beans and the cornbread and everything that was just normal, considered normal. And, I started using organic by nature a long, long time ago. And then I just like, okay, I couldn't find it anymore, And then, like, when I suffered severely with postpartum depression, almost into postpartum psychosis, and roller coaster, decades, like 2 decades full of different psych meds, people guessing, well, you've got this family history of this and blah, blah, blah. And, I remember going to the state fair here in Oklahoma and meeting Dave at a booth and having a Purium card in the drawer, and knowing in the back of my mind that this is what I needed in my life. This is what I needed in my life. And I decided to go with Purium last year in January. And to be off that roller coaster, to be aware, to be awake, to be able to know my boundaries. When a person is constantly on ultra processed food or food that is acidic, and then the roller coaster of psych meds, you find yourself in situations that don't coincide with who you really are. And stepping into the first Kind Human Tribe Sunday call and realizing that it was a community full of kind humans. And it's not just that tribe, this whole company from the top down is nothing but humble, still meek and learning and growing community. And to be able to come off those meds, to be able not just to drop the weight, but to drop the burdens of negative self-thought through the love of this community, it's a win-win. You buy your products, you grow, And my legacy is to change the flippin' narrative of my family, to show my son, to show my siblings, to show my parents, to show my grandparents who are still alive, that trauma is generational. It's nothing new, but we can change that by loving ourselves and pouring from a full cup. And that is what I wanted to say. Much love, guys.
Oh my goodness, Martha. I'm surprised that I made it this far in this call without crying. If you guys know me or if you're part of my team, you probably heard me cry on so many different calls. But what you just shared, and I just honor you and the legacy that you say you are building. Like you say, you're changing the narrative for your family. The generations that, have suffered didn't have access, right? They didn't have resources, they didn't have community. And we have all of that. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Holistic lifestyler.
Oh, I'm sorry. It should say boo.
I know. Hi, Boo.
Hey, Martha, that was just so, like Dominique said, so touching. And I love that you can now give from your overflow, because that's the gift that Purium does for us. It helps us give from our overflow so that we're not depleted. I came to Purium, my journey has been through high nutrition. I've always had high nutrition, and I was a bit of a snob. And I said, I don't do powders. And my friend said to me, look at the ingredients. And I looked at the ingredients, and I said to her, I don't do these 7 days a week, but I want to. And then I heard about the business. And for me, that has become paramount, especially in the culture and age that we're in right now. Sorry, I've got something. Oh, the DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion, is something that Purium offers. And in Black History Month, we really celebrate that, because you don't have to have a degree. You don't even have to know about nutrition. You just have to have a desire to want to help more people. And for me, I want to bring this to underserved communities, to where there's food deserts. And this is part of DEI, right? The certain companies just don't deliver there because they think that the people don't want to buy it, but we do, and they do. And so what if we can deliver it to our doorstep, and you don't have to go to those stores? And then what if you can have an income that's unlimited, and you're not limited by what your educational background is? And so for me, I think Purium provides an open door in an age where there are so many doors being closed. And I feel that's a really important element that we offer. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you shared that. You're getting a lot of love in the chat for sure from what you mentioned, because it's the freedom that we all deserve. But we don't know. And whoever invited you here, you didn't know about this either before they shared this with you, right? I didn't know. Dave and Amy were building this business and I was in diapers. Had they stopped, I would never be able to eat these foods, let alone share with my parents who are in Kentucky still and live in a food desert and don't have access to organic food that's transformed their health and their quality of life. So imagine not just the people that are around you that don't know about this, but imagine the people who aren't even born yet that don't know about this. But if you continue to share, you continue to live the lifestyle, you continue to empower others, that's setting their future up for success. So I'm glad that you shared that, and I'm muted. So thank you so much. Yes, we have one more time for Mary Beth, or enough time for one more share. Mary Beth, you can unmute. So good to see you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for this call, Dominique. I'm loving the storytelling. And, when I think about this topic of legacy, for me with Purium, it's just all about the legacy of family. And to me, Purium is such a family and a place where I've really found my home. And it's been something that has actually united my family. So when I found Purium, kind of like these other stories, I was suffering from postpartum depletion. And I was actually in a 2-year long immigration process with my partner who's from West Africa. And during that immigration process, I had had our first son, and he hadn't been able to meet him yet because of this process. And I was struggling as a single mom at the time, financially, physically. And Purium came into my life when I was at the moment of kind of losing hope, not knowing if we were going to be able to finalize that and make that happen and be a family. But Purium came in, and the financial opportunity allowed me to generate the additional revenue to finish that immigration process. So Purium is a huge reason that my family and I are together, and that my husband now lives here in the United States. And we have 3 children now, and it's really incredible because the income we've generated also allows us to help support my husband's family back in West Africa. So whenever he goes back home, he brings suitcases full of this nutrition to his family, which they don't have access to any of this quality of nutrition. And so he's able to get his mama on all the superfoods and all the things. And it's so cool. And his nieces and his nephews and his family and his friends. And then the income also has supported our family to really support our other passions. He's a musician, so Purium being able to travel on the road and do this as a family, we can do our business from anywhere, and we get to share the nutrition when we're doing workshops for drum and dance. And it's such an incredible way to integrate what we love about life into our everyday. And then we just get to integrate Purium into it too. And his brother has a project over in West Africa, and we're able with the finances to help support in creating food sovereignty for some of the villages and things that they're providing education for with drum and dance. And so it's such an incredible legacy, if you will, the way that one seed can affect so many different lives and even lives across the world. So for me, it's all about family. And my son the other day, he's 7, but he was asking me, he's like, Mom, so can I do Purium when I'm like 16? And I'm like, no, not till you're 18. But my dream is to be able to now hand my business to my children if that's what they want, right? And continue that legacy going. So yeah, it's incredible what's possible here. And I never, ever knew that it was possible until I just kind of stepped in and leaned into the community and really joined the family. So thank you so much for this call.
Thank you so much for sharing. And Mary Beth, you've been such a huge part of my why and my journey here. Like, I remember watching you and your sister Rita share your stories and how working together you created, financial freedom for yourself and your mother and your family. And me and my sister, we worked together too. She actually enrolled me into the business, and when I knew that the more I shared this blessing with people, that she would be rewarded financially, that lit a fire under me so much. I was like, what? My sister gets paid for this? And not just today, but forever. Right. And then when she starts her own family, she'll also be rewarded for the efforts that I give. So yes, this business model is incredible for families, and especially siblings and sisters that work together to be able to support ourselves. And I love that you said, the seed that we planted, it starts with a seed. The foods that we eat are the seeds, but we are seeds. We're our ancestors' seeds, and they may have transitioned by now and they don't know what we created, right? But what we're taking from their lineage and what we're expressing through our gifts and sharing our voice and our stories is an extension of everything that they've experienced. And one day, right, if you choose to, you will have a legacy here, whether it's through your own family that will look back and say, wow, I remember this call, and I'm so glad that you started Purium, or the seeds through your team that you're building here in this community, and just their gratitude for you saying yes to this opportunity. Mary Beth, go ahead. I see you have your hands up.
Yeah, and you totally brought up a part of my story that I missed, but leading on to that family, like I remember watching my mom work so hard her whole life and just giving. She always gave to the community, but she was never, she was still having a hard time paying the bills. And so one of my sisters and I's huge goals has been, how can we repay our mom and give back, all the years we saw her giving. And so Purium has been a way, right, where we've built businesses and been able to retire my mom, and she gets to do what she loves, which is hang with the grandkids and grow permaculture gardens. So she's continuing the cycle of the regenerative farming. And my sister Rita, who we do this business with, she just had her first baby, and she's getting to enjoy a super long, beautiful postpartum because of this business and the residual income. And so again, it just goes in so many different directions in terms of the legacy.
Yeah, it really is the gift that just keeps giving forever, 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 and for everyone. Wow, thank you all so much for all your shares, all your love in the chat. I'm just so grateful that I'm a part of this community and yeah, able to share my story. And I'm excited to continue this legacy that we're a part of and the people who are going to partner with us. So I'm going to pass it to Naeva if you would love to wrap us up and share how the community, how they can stay connected to our community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this incredible presentation today, Dominique. You did a fabulous job of bringing us through Purium's legacy of leadership over the past 30 years and helping us all create that bigger vision, right? We can dream big, but we really have to dream even bigger, because you can see how Dave and Amy's dream started, and it might have been a small facility, but they had a big dream, and we all get to be a part of that legacy that they've built. And so I just want to thank everyone for being here. And if you're brand new today to the call, please reach back out to the person that invited you here, because they really share this with you because they love you and they want you to be a part of this journey with them, and for you to be able to build your legacy here as a part of our community. And we'd love to invite you to join us as part of the community and follow, and share our different platforms. So please go like us on Facebook at Million Mom Movement. We currently have the rest of the month's events up under events on our Facebook event page. So please go ahead and join those events, share them with your community, invite others to join. Next week, we will be talking about caring for the caregivers on our autism featured call on the third week of the month. So please invite people to that next presentation next Friday. Also, join our community Facebook group, Million Mom Movement Official, which is where the replays get posted with any other resources. And we want to invite you to be a part of that community. Share your stories in there, and just be a part of the community. Share inspiration, recipes, all of the things that you think would inspire our community. And also invite your friends into that group as well, your team members, your community, and let's really build that up. Also, follow us on Instagram and tag us in your stories and posts that we can feature you as part of our community and share your stories and your recipes and things that you're doing with the rest of the community. You can use our hashtag so we can find your posts more easily. And then last but not least, please subscribe to our YouTube channel where all of the replays are reposted, and you can find nearly 300 replays there. And last but not least, please join us next Friday for our next presentation, and invite your friends and family to come join us as well, because we are growing this community far and wide. And, we call ourselves the Million Mom Movement, but MOM is really an acronym for the movement of many, because we want to include everybody in this community as part of this movement as we grow and reach more and more people. So thank you all so much for joining us here today. Have a beautiful weekend, and we will see you next Friday. And thank you everyone for your shares.
Bye, everyone.